here in Chicago.
Yeah, and Lovie Smith told us that he was a little bit more athletic than Chicago anticipated. We'll see if some of that athleticism comes out today. I think that's going to be one of Christian's biggest challenges, is kind of balancing that. When do I escape from the pocket? When do I hang in there a little bit longer and let those plays develop down the field?
Yeah, making the right choices.
Vikings 6-4, Bears 7-3. Ponder wrapped up by Henry Melton on first down. Sack number 6 from Melton on the season.
Pressure right up the middle, Henry Melton.
And this is just beat real quick and then going right to the quarterback. It's going to come from the inside.
He does a nice job right here. A little swim move. Keeps his feet moving right upfield. That's the toughest thing for a quarterback when they get pressure right in their face early in the game.
A loss of 9 on 2nd and 19. It's the NFL's leading rusher, Adrian Peterson, and he's tackled by Nick Roach.
And it's going to be up to these guys up front to get that running game going. Chicago is tough to run the football against, but these guys will determine how successful that is. This is a run-first team. Don't make any mistake about it. Adrian Peterson, just absolutely incredible. We all know the story about him coming back from that ACL. Unbelievable. But they've got to have success running the football. That will help Christian Ponder in the passing game.
Ponder on 3rd down and 18. It's complete to Jarius Wright. So Lovie Smith elects to defer. Big sack on the first play from scrimmage, and the Vikings go 3 and out.
And he's just so important for this offense. They really struggle when Jay Cutler is not in the lineup, but it is so important for this offensive line to keep him clean this afternoon. They have, and Mike Tice, the offensive coordinator, he can help that out with his play call.
Their start from the 29-yard line. It's Matt Forte who loses the football. And it is recovered by Chad Greenway of the Vikings.
Well, that's not going to help the confidence of Mike Tice, who keeping the run game going.
Following Matt Forte's first fumble of the season. From the Chicago 28. Off the play fake, pass broken up by Lance Briggs, intended for the tight end, Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph, the tight end, trying to get him more involved in the passing game. This is what you see when you have this Tampa 2 style. You've got the 2 safeties back deep, and the linebacker is going to carry that tight end down the middle of the field.
Second and 10 from the 28. Here's Peterson up the middle. And Peterson gains 6 down to the 22-yard line, going up against this 5th-ranked Bears defense.
And this group really needs to have a bounce-back game. 2 areas that they struggled with against San Francisco right there. The defensive front did not play well. Heard a lot about them all season long. Linebackers did not play well either. I mean, the entire group. But Major Wright and Chris Conte, those are 2 guys that Lovie Smith has talked a lot about this year, and they struggled both in coverage and in tackling against the Niners.
3 wide receivers set, 3rd down and 4. The slant could not be handled by Jerome Simpson. Charles Tillman on the coverage.
You know, Matt Forte, you know, as you pointed out, Kenny, his first fumble this season, but you can't shy away from this running game. The #1 objective today is to keep your quarterback clean, not let him take a lot of hits. To do that, this running game has to be an important ingredient. You cannot abandon it because of what happened on that opening play.
Now Cutler tripped up, and he's down back at the 16-yard line.
All right, 2 bad plays for this offense right in a row.
Well, we've got Chris Spencer in at the left guard, the new spot. Does he step on Jay Cutler as he's coming out from under center? No, it's actually Roberto Garza, the center, who gets him.
See right there, he steps on his foot, trips him up.
Go through. Loss of 3. 2nd down and 13. Here's Forte. Wrapped up, tackled by Jasper Brinkley. Gain of 3, 3rd down and 10. Upcoming.
And I would think the Vikings defense is kind of licking their chops watching that film from the San Francisco game. You know, Jared Allen, Brian Robinson on the outside. Can they take advantage of the tackles for the Chicago Bears? And this is a good defense. You don't hear a lot about them. This is a very good secondary. The Chicago Bears wide receiver is very complimentary of the Minnesota Vikings secondary. So they play very, very well together as a unit.
Cutler out of the shotgun on 3rd and long. Wrapped up and then throws. Catch is made by Forte after the pressure on Cutler from Everson Griffin, who start from their own 32-yard line. Honda hands it off to Peterson. Ball comes loose. And the Bears have recovered. And as far as who recovered, that part of the play is not reviewable. So it's Cutler and the Bears from the Minnesota 34. Here is Forte, who lost a fumble earlier. Leans forward to the 29-yard line for a gain of 5.
And it's been a very poor start to this game for the Bears offense. And how many times have we seen the Bears defense make a play to get these guys back into a rhythm? What can Jay Cutler and his group do right here after that forced fumble by the Bears defense?
Bears lead the league in takeaways, now with 31. Brandon Marshall in motion. Butler looking to get the ball to Marshall. And Jared Allen had other ideas. He got a hand on it.
Jared Allen did a nice job of keeping his eyes in the backfield right on Jay Cutler.
He is so athletic. I mean, the fact that he's going to read this screen, make the deflection. If he doesn't slip, Tony, I think he's got an interception here. He slips right there as he starts to accelerate.
You can see how fast he recognized it. As soon as he came off the ball, he stopped his pass rush. He stood up. He tips the ball. And I think you're right, Dal. If he doesn't fall down, he might be in the end zone right now. 52.
3rd down and 6. Cutler out of the shotgun. Cutler fires, and the catch is made by Earl Bennett. Bennett picks up a Bears first down.
Well, we talked to Mike Tice, and he said, we know we've got to get the ball to Brandon Marshall and Devin Hester early in this game, but the one guy I need to step up is Earl Bennett. He's coming from the top on a little drag route. Good concentration because he's coming back into the middle of the field where he knows he's going to take a hit. And then some poor tackling by the Viking secondary.
Bennett and Cutler, teammates at Vanderbilt. And here in Chicago, Bennett gained 11. From the 19-yard line, Michael Bush. Couple of nice moves. His first carry today, and the former Raider able to gain 3 down to the Vikings' 16-yard line.
Nice little sidestep there by Bush, huh?
I think one of the good things that Chicago did in the offseason was address the backup quarterback spot and the backup running back spot. Michael Bush is a good running back, a good changeup for Matt Forte. Keep him fresh, challenge those defenses to adjust to a different running style.
He rushed for over 900 yards last year with Oakland. 2nd down and 7. Butler fires across the field to his tight end, Kellen Davis. And Davis is down at the 1. A 15-yard completion from Cutler to Davis.
Kellen Davis, your big tight end. He's a big body down in the red zone. This is a good adjustment because the play breaks down. Look at that throw by Jay Cutler. You've got a high-low with Jamarcus Sanford and Aaron Henderson. That is a small window to fit that ball in. That is what you missed with Jay Cutler out of the lineup against San Francisco. Those gutsy throws, I've got confidence in my arm and I'm taking a shot.
Gabe Karimi in as an extra blocker along with 2 tight ends as Cutler hands it off to Bush, and he is in for a Bears touchdown.
There's Gabe Karimi, number 72, coming in as that extra tight end over here. And we're just going to get everybody to that left side. lock everybody down, kick out. Here comes Lance Lewis around. Chad Greenway with a shot.
Of this game, there have been 7 kicking plays. 3 kickoffs, 2 punts, a field goal, and an extra point. Ponder and the Vikings start from the 22-yard line, and Charles Tillman comes up to make the tackle on Jerome Simpson, holding the Vikings to just 1 yard.
But the thing you have to worry about when you do one of these quick passes to the outside and Charles Tillman is in coverage is your receiver going to hold on to the ball. I mean, I have never seen anybody as adept at knocking a ball out as Charles Tillman.
7 forced fumbles over the first 10 games this season. On 2nd and 9, Ponder moving to his right and finding one, tries to check it down. Peterson incomplete. Time for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee, Los Angeles. Kurt.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 5 of 6 and are the highest scoring team in the league during that stretch. This kid is one reason why. The rookie Doug Martin, 1-yard scoring play, 7-3. The Bucs with the lead over those 9-1 Falcons here in the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. 3rd down and 9 for the Vikings. Vikings must get to the 32-yard line as Ponder throws. The catch is made by Wright. And another nice tackle by Tillman, bringing down the rookie Jarius Wright a yard shy of the marker. A punt of only 23 yards off the side of his foot. So the Bears start from their own 46-yard line. Cutler to Marshall. Brandon Marshall into Vikings territory for a gain of 8 yards.
And I'm waiting for this offense to really take that next step because of the addition of Brandon Marshall. It's an element that Chicago really has never had offensively. I mean, he is a matchup nightmare on the outside. You can see his numbers, but you haven't seen the production out of this offense, and a lot of that has to do with those issues in that offensive line.
Offense ranked 30th. Cutler and Marshall had 2 tremendous years together in Denver. On 2nd and 2, it's Bush who has the Bears touchdown, and he is stopped shy of a first down. So 3rd and short coming up for Chicago. Gabe Karimi back in along with the fullback Evan Rodriguez.
See if Mike Tice gets a little aggressive here. You got a 3rd and short. Do you have the confidence with your group to go for it on 4th down? Maybe take a hard play action and a big shot down the field.
So with Karimi in as an extra blocker on 3rd and 1, they keep it on the ground with Bush, and Michael Bush picks up a first down, running right behind the new starting right tackle Jonathan Scott.
And again, not just a changeup for Michael Bush. He becomes your short yardage and goal line specialist as well. You can see the overloaded formation to the side, very similar to the play we saw on the goal line, this time going to the right side as opposed to the left.
So a new set of downs for the Bears from the Vikings 43. Again, it is Bush. Darren Allen makes the tackle. 2nd down and 9.
Chad Greenway had an opportunity to make a tackle on the backfield, but he ran right by him.
Couple of turnovers early. Forte coughed it up. And Adrian Peterson leading to the Bears touchdown. 2nd down and 9 for Chicago. Bennett in motion. From the Vikings 42. Cutler to the outside to Marshall. And Marshall breaks a couple of tackles. Terrific second effort. Finally forced out of bounds by Aaron Henderson. It will be marked just shy of the marker.
And not just a matchup problem for Brandon Marshall on the outside, but also after the catch. There's Antoine Winfield, 26, one of the best tackling corners throughout his career. And Brandon Marshall is big enough and strong enough to get away from him. Look at the stiff arm on A.J. Jefferson. You might want to get that ball tucked away a little better, but...
Another 3rd and short. Karimi back in. And And Michael Bush is close. It will depend on the spots and extracurricular activity. Eric Weems shoved to the ground, and a penalty marker has been thrown. So an automatic first down for the Bears.
26.
Inside the red zone for the second time from the Vikings 18-yard line. With Forte in the backfield. Cutler looking to throw, and now he takes off. Cutler is shoved out by Jefferson, and a late flag.
A little stiff arm by Jay Cutler towards the end of the game, end of the play.
So Cutler is called for taunting.
Quarterback should never get that penalty. That shouldn't be allowed.
Well, I mean, it's part of his game, Tony. I mean, here's a guy coming back from a concussion. He can slide right here, but he's not gonna. He's gonna stay up. Then he gives A.J. Jefferson a little pie face and flips him the ball.
The ball. Okay.
So Jefferson called for the personal foul the previous play. Now Cutler flips the ball his way, and Cutler is flagged.
Again, maintain your emotions. It's a divisional game. Emotions run high, but you've got to be able to keep your composure.
From the 28-yard line on second down and 20, Forte works his way down to the 23 for a gain of 5. Bears did not get the last play call in time, forced to use a timeout. And now Cutler connects with Marshall. Marshall stays on his feet and then is thrown back by Harrison Smith. So positive yardage turns into a negative play, and now Chicago will send out Robbie Gould in the field goal unit.
How he was planting on that leg. I mean, that's the biggest thing on a recovery, is getting that confidence back. It seems like day one he had that confidence in that leg, being able to plant it and make his cuts.
Peterson gains 5 on first down as time winds down in this first quarter. Vikings still looking for their first down of this game. We start the second quarter in Chicago. Second down and 5 for the Vikings, who trail by 7. Off the play fake to Peterson. Potter's pass is caught by Darius Wright. Close to midfield. Just shy of a first down.
Well, you mentioned some changes in the return game, Kenny, and there's your answer why. Devin Hester heading into the locker room. So we've seen Eric Weems back on kickoff, and then also that last punt, as you pointed out, Devin Hester, the short back, Eric Weems, the deep man on punt. So Devin Hester heading into the locker room.
Hester's had some big returns against Minnesota throughout his career. Ponder complete to the tight end Rudolph for a first down and more. He is finally knocked out of bounds by Visconti. Kyle Rudolph, the Vikings' second leading receiver this season, picks up 25 yards.
Well, I really like this play call. You've got Adrian Peterson. We've talked about him and how important he is in the running game. You run that play action. Look at Kyle Rudolph pop open on the outside. Now watch Rhett Ellison, number 40, the end of this run. He's downfield. Actually gets 2 blocks for Kyle Rudolph.
So the Vikings on their 5th possession today finally pick up a first down. And now it's Peterson. Peterson dives ahead to the 24-yard line. Kelvin Hayden in for Charles Tillman. Made the tackle after Peterson picks up 8.
No, Peterson's the guy you got to get going here, Darryl. You got to give him the ball. He's got to go and lead this offense down the field.
Yeah, and there's Charles Tillman on the side, Goose. When Kyle Rudolph sold that play fake, the Bear player that went down was Charles Tillman, so he's over getting his ankle retaped.
2 tight ends split wide. Second down and 2 for Minnesota. Ponder hits Peterson out of the backfield. And Adrian Peterson picks up another Vikings first down as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Kurt.
Well, the Falcons and Bucks have gone back and forth so far in the early going. Here it is, Jacquizz Rodgers. Officially a 5-yard score, and the Falcons are back on top. 10-3 early on in the second quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Atlanta at 9-1, suffered their only loss 2 weeks ago to New Orleans. They'll face the Saints again this Thursday. On first down, it's Peterson. Peterson tripped up.
You know, Keeping an eye on Adrian Peterson on that last play. 2 plays ago, sort of got a little helmet to helmet. See it right here. Might have jarred his neck or did something, because when he was walking back to the huddle, he was shaking his head a little bit, but he looked pretty good on that last run, on that last run.
Helmet to the shoulder of Kelvin Hayden.
Guy they can't afford to lose right there, especially with Percy Harvin.
Second down and 4. Ponder moving to his left. And then he flips it away.
A smart play. I mean, you're going to lose yardage on this play. Kyle Rudolph goes in motion. Got to be able to take advantage of the play action. Chicago does a good job getting everybody covered, but right here, you're going to run out of bounds and lose yardage.
So now 3rd down and 6 for the Vikings. Ponder to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Intended for Rudolph. The 2 safeties, Major Wright and Chris Conti on the coverage for Chicago.
It's going to be a jump ball situation. There's Kyle Rudolph at the tight end spot, getting bumped as he goes out. But what you're looking for here is the ability for him to go up in traffic and make that catch at the highest point. Chris Conti comes over, gets a hand on that ball.
So here's Blair Walsh, hit from 40 yards out earlier. There's a 30-yard attempt, and it was blocked. Only the second miss for the rookie Walsh. This 12th block kick of Pepper's career. On first down, it's Forte. And he's tackled by Jasper Brinkley. Gain of 5.
And what I want to see for the Chicago Bears is, can they get a sustained drive? You go back and take a look at this play call through the first part of this game. 12 running plays, just netting 30 yards. So you're not at 3 yards a carry yet, but you can't abandon that. You really can't. You know, you're going to be able to allow Jay Cutler to make some plays in the passing game. But Mike Tice has to stay with it. Keep giving the ball to Matt Forte. Mix it up with Michael Bush. Let that offensive line come off the ball, like Tony said earlier.
Cutler 6 of 7, a couple of big completions on the Bears' touchdown drive in the first quarter. Cutler on second down. Throw is low. He was looking for the tight end, Kellen Davis. Greenway on the coverage, so 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Again, just keeping that play alive in the pocket. You know, Jay Cutler, he doesn't get enough credit for his ability to extend these plays. We think of quarterbacks that extend plays. Jay Cutler's not one of those guys in that conversation, but we've seen several times already today his ability to extend that play and get a shot down the field.
Macho LA! Macho LA!
Marshall split wide to the right, 3rd down and 5. Bears must get to the 30, inside handoff to Forte. And it looks like he picks up the first. Jasper Brinkley came up to make the tackle, but Forte running hard, able to move the chains for the Bears.
That's a nice 3rd down pickup right there, because you change the formation, you open it up, you're in shotgun. Single back shotgun runs are not easy to do. Lance Lewis right now, the right guard for the Chicago Bears. If you're going to play defense for Minnesota, key him. He is leading you to where the ball is going in the running game right now. They're pulling him almost half the time.
1st and 10 from the 31. The slant to Marshall. And Marshall's tackled by Winfield at the 26. Time for another game break. Here's Kurt.
And an update on the Steelers and Browns is Jordan Cameron in his 2nd year out of USC scores his first NFL touchdown. That one a 5-yard reception from Brandon Weeden. Both scores by the Browns have been off Pittsburgh turnovers, and they lead it 10-7. Kenny Moose from News.
All right, thanks, Kurt. 2nd down and 3. Eric Weems back on the field. Darryl, Bears down to just 3 wide receivers. Hester has gone to the locker room without Jeffrey. Dane Sanzenbacher is inactive, so Marshall, Bennett, and Weems, the only healthy wideouts for Chicago. On 2nd and 3, it is Forte. Nice tackle made by Brian Robinson.
Not only a nice tackle, Kenny, but nice job taking on the block. It's a long trap, and you're going to have Matt Spaeth come all the way to the backside and try and get a block on him. And he's going to take that on, hold his ground, and then shed the block and make the tackle. That's a good play by a defensive end.
Yeah, he did a nice job of staying square on that, Darryl, so he can come back out and make that play. Sometimes all you get is a little piece of uniform. Hold on and wait for the troops to rally.
Marshall in motion, 3rd down and 3. Bears must get to the 41, and they do. It's Evan Rodriguez, the fullback, his first reception, his first touch in the NFL, rookie out of Temple, and Rodriguez gains 11.
You always lose track of the fullback in the flat in that situation.
Especially when he wears number 48.
No respect, is that what you're saying there?
Oh, gosh, I mean, you got Brandon Marshall, Matt Forte, you got all these other guys you're worried about. Really, Evan Rodriguez in the flat? It's like stealing, Goose.
So a new set of downs for Chicago as Cutler hands it off to Bush, and he is into Vikings territory. Gain of 5 to the Minnesota 46.
Here's what Minnesota has to understand right now. The key to the running game is this guy right here. He is going to take you to where the ball is going. Lance Lewis is pulling on about half of the plays right now. So as linebackers, and you're getting your reads, you know, you're not reading the running backs a lot of times, you're reading the blocking scheme. This afternoon, Chicago wants Lance Lewis to be their leader when he pulls.
2nd down and 5, it's Bush. Bush up the middle, wrapped up by Kevin Williams, stopped about 2 yards shy of a 1st down.
They're doing a lot of movement up on that line of scrimmage. On that play, Darryl, Jonathan Scott pulled, came across the middle. So there are a lot of misdirection by that offensive line, trying to get good angles on those defensive linemen, knowing that they penetrate in the middle.
So now another 3rd down situation coming up. As you saw, Bears have converted on 5 of 7. Bennett, the motion man. Bush in the backfield. This is Bush. He's close.
We've seen the same play in this situation on 3 separate occasions. It's going to be an overloaded side with Gabe Karimi, and then you're going to have Lance Lewis either pulling to that overload if he's away from it from the right guard spot, or pulling to the outside if they overload it to the right side.
Bush is the back. 4th and inches for Chicago. It's Bush, and Michael Bush has a 1st down. Finally tackled by Aaron Henderson. He needed a ½ yard, and he gained about 5½.
Here it is again. It's that overloaded formation. If you take a look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys here. You got your fullback on that side, and everybody's just coming off the line. Here comes Lance Lewis around the outside. These guys are getting excited about running the football right now.
From the 37 off the fake to Bush. Wide open, Earl Bennett, but he stumbles. Gets back up and then is tackled by Henderson. Gain of 4 for Bennett. Now 2nd down and 6 as Forte checks back in. Devin Hester, Darryl, has been ruled out due to a concussion suffered early.
So they will be thin at wide receiver the rest of the game. Jay Cutler and Earl Bennett getting together right there. Jay Cutler is going to be mad at him because Earl Bennett had a lot of open field on that play action, and Jay Cutler put it on the back hip, and as Earl Bennett caught it, he went to the ground.
Bears have doubled up the Vikings as far as time of possession. 2nd down and 6. Forte tried to cut it back inside, and then Antoine Winfield, one of the top tacklers in the league over the last decade, holds Forte to a gain of just 2.
Well, we showed you the 3 opening drives for the Chicago Bears to start this game, and really the only time they had anything happen was when they got on that short field after the fumble by Adrian Peterson. This is an impressive drive. This is the 12th play. This is something we haven't seen a lot from the Bears this season, and it's been all started with this run game they've committed to.
Cutler out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 3. Cutler fires over the middle, and it is caught for a 1st down by Brandon Marshall, his 5th reception today. And the Bears get a new set of downs.
And here we go, Jonathan Scott. You know, he's taken over for Gabe Carimi at right tackle. I want you to keep an eye on him. You're not perfect all the time. He's working against Brian Robinson, gets beat to the inside. Just keep working. Keep working. I mean, use that big body. Use those big arms to get that guy shoved down inside. It's not always going to be, from a technique standpoint, how you drew it up.
Chris Spencer, the Bears left guard, is shaken up. There's Chris Spencer, tended to by the Bears medical staff, replaced by Edwin Williams. His first appearance this season. He started 7 games at left guard for the Bears last year. So with Williams in at left guard, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Butler with time, can't find anyone. Now he sets, he throws to the end zone, and there is a flag. 2 flags have been thrown. Antoine Winfield with the coverage on Brandon Marshall after Cutler had loads of time and then finally fired to the end zone.
Yeah, I don't know. That's 2 guys competing for the football. I don't like the call.
Me neither. Now it's Bush on 1st and goal from the 1, and he drags 2 Vikings with him into the end zone. It's his 2nd touchdown today.
That was kind of an old school Chicago Bear drive. I mean, they just stuffed it right down the throat of Jared Allen and the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of 3rd down conversions, getting into 3rd and short, bringing in Michael Bush and converting those. There he is down on the goal line, getting it across the end zone.
And now it's Pudlish who runs it in for the 2-point conversion. The direct snap to the punter/holder, Adam Pudlish. 18-3 Chicago. They had a field goal blocked on their last possession. And then the Bears drove 80 yards for a touchdown. From the 11-yard line. Not much for Peterson. Brian Urlacher comes up to make the tackle.
All right, for everybody wondering why they went for 2 in that situation, let's go back and explain this. This is something that's going to be set when you come into the game. Special teams coach Dave Tobe, if he sees this formation where we have them overloaded with big bodies, this is a live call. We're going for 2. Look at 2 down blocks. Now you've got Gabe Carimi blocking a safety, and you got one of your big tight ends blocking a corner. It's a live call. When that formation came up, that play was on, and they got the 2 points, well executed and very aggressive.
2nd down and 10. Ponder takes off. Ponder out to the 17-yard line for a gain of 6.
Very
Vikings
impressed
have had the ball, Goose, for just over 8 minutes. They've picked up only 2 first downs. 3rd down and 4 upcoming.
And this is a huge conversion right here for the Minnesota Vikings. This game is sliding right now. Chicago has stolen all the momentum. The blocked field goal, a very impressive 14-play, 80-yard drive.
Ponder on 3rd down, throws, and it's Rudolph, his tight end. So Kyle Rudolph, on his 2nd reception of this game, able to pick up a 1st down, a gain of 8.
Nice job by Christian Ponder. Hanging in the pocket. He's going to take a hit from Henry Melton, but he's going to make the conversion on this pass. Here comes Henry Melton, steps in, takes the hit, but gets it to Kyle Rudolph. That was a big conversion. They had to slow down the momentum the Chicago Bears had generated.
From the 25-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning. Ponder in trouble, able to get rid of it as he was knocked down by Israel Adonijay.
This is the way we're used to seeing the Chicago Bears front play. And we've got all kinds of different guys. Look at that, splitting the double team, getting right to the quarterback. I mean, we've seen Henry Melton, Israel Adonijay. We've seen all these defensive linemen beating guys one-on-one and getting up into Christian Ponder's face.
They're attacking right. Fusco, number 63, the right guard. That's the guy they're going after. They're running games with him.
Play action on second down as Ponder throws, and it's picked off by Chris Conti. And Conti still on his feet, finally tackled at the 12-yard line by Charlie Johnson. Second pick this season for Conti. Chris Conti, number 47, with the pick. Bears lead the league in interceptions. They lead the league in takeaways. And they look to add to their lead over the Vikings. With a minute 55 remaining, second quarter. First and 10 from the 13-yard line off the fake to Forte. Cutler fires to the end zone, and the catch is made for a touchdown by Matt Spaeth.
I tell you what, we've seen Matt Spaeth drop a couple easy passes during the course of this season. This is a heck of a catch on this one. Kellen Davis, number 87, working on Jared Allen. And look, again, there's Cutler hanging. He's going to get hit. Throws it perfectly. Now let's see if Matt Spaeth gets 2 feet down. There's one.
Ruled a touchdown on the field. All scoring plays are reviewed upstairs. One game behind the division leaders, Chicago and Green Bay. Ponder pump fakes and then throws short. Intended for Jarius Wright.
There's a lot of movement in that defensive line of Chicago, Tony. I think that's the one thing that's giving the Minnesota Vikings offensive line the most problems. They're twisting a lot up front, and they're not passing that game very well right now.
Yeah, one guy they're looking at is number 63, their guard, Brandon Fusco. They're attacking him exactly right with a lot of twists. He's the right guard.
Ponder firing downfield on second down. Too far for the tight end. Rudolph as Ponder took another hit.
Yeah, I want you to look at this, Goose. Watch what they're doing. This is Julius Peppers. He's not even trying to get to the quarterback. He's going to challenge him. Watch him. He's going to go up. He's going to push Matt Khalil so Shea McClellan can come underneath. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get these guys off level and create opportunities with the guy looping under.
One thing John Sullivan's got to do, the center, is he's got to, even though he's sliding away, he's got to turn his head back and look for them stunts.
Here's Ponder, just one for his last 7. Catch is made by Wright, but he's knocked out of bounds by Hayden. And they scored on their last 4 possessions, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Cutler underneath, there is a flag. A rare flag as the catch is made by Matt Forte. The officials move the chains. It's 1st and 10, not 1st and 5. And now Cutler fires. Earl Bennett in Vikings territory for a Bears first down. 21 yards from Cutler to Bennett.
26.
Following the 21-yard pass play. 1st and 10 for Chicago from the Minnesota 42 as Cutler is wrapped up, able to get rid of it. And the catch is made on the scoop as Cutler is being taken down. Forte with the reception, no gain, now 2nd and 10. Bears have 1 timeout, 45 seconds remaining. Cutler to Marshall. Marshall to the Vikings.
I wonder if they're working on something with Brandon Marshall. We've seen that little short in route over and over again. They're trying to set Minnesota up for a double move on the outside.
3rd down and 2. The slant to Weems for a Bears first down. Clock continues to run. Chicago with 1 timeout. Down to 10 seconds. And they keep it on the ground with Forte. Greenway the tackle. And now the Bears will use their final timeout. With 3 seconds remaining.
Minnesota, you cannot abandon the run. I know that Howie talked about them becoming one-dimensional here because of the score, but you are built around running the football with Adrian Peterson. When you get the ball back on offense, you've got to stay true to who you are.
Also had a chance, I talked with Lovie Smith. He says the game plan that we had in the first half, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try and run the ball and keep it going. The big difference that I see in this game between Minnesota and Chicago, just what Darryl said, is Minnesota has not established a run. Only 8 runs, 18 passes, where Chicago, they came out, they wanted to establish the run. They had to fumble early, but they stuck with it. They kept going. Another thing, Chicago on defense, Charles Tillman is out with an ankle. They will not use him in the second half.
All right, thanks very much, Goose. Big loss for the Bears. 2nd down and 6. Off the play fake. Cutler with loads of time. And the pass is off the hand of Kellen Davis, the tight end.
Kellen Davis, number 87. Kind of that standard play. We have the bootleg. You're working across the field. Got to get 2 hands on it. You can get 1, you can get 2. Stretch out and get that second hand there.
Only the 3rd incompletion for Cutler. He was 15 of 17 in the first half. 3rd down and 6. Bears must get to the 35. Cutler backpedaling. Now he throws, and it's Marshall who breaks free. 1st down and more. Brandon Marshall out to the 46-yard line, a gain of 17.
Nice protection up front, also by the offensive line.
Yeah, but watch Brandon Marshall work here on the outside, going against A.J. Jefferson. Outside, now back inside. Again, it's good coverage by A.J. Jefferson. Jay Cutler, he rolls the dice. You know, he's going to take a shot at some of these opportunities where your receiver is covered tightly.
7 of Cutler's 16 completions have gone to Marshall. From the 46-yard line, quickly out to Earl Bennett. And Bennett is into Vikings territory and is close to another 1st down in the collision with Harrison Smith. Smith took the worst of it at the end of the play. You don't like the wait? No. Harrison Smith out for the Vikings. Cutler's pass is high and picked off the hand of Marshall, and it's Antoine Winfield on the return for the Vikings.
Well, again, it's one of those big play actions where everybody is sold out. We've got Lance Lewis down on the field for the Chicago Bears.
Lance Lewis, the injured Bear, hit on the interception return by Winfield as Adrian Peterson looks to bounce it to the outside, and there is a flag.
Let's go back and take a look at the hit on Lance Lewis. I want you to watch Jared Allen's right here, and we're going to bring in Mike Pereira. Mike, is this the new defenseless player that they've added to the list?
Yeah, that's called the blindside block. And when Allen is going back toward his own goal line or in line or parallel down the line, then you can't lead with your shoulder, forearm, or head into the head or neck area of an opponent. To me, that's an illegal blindside block.
All right, thanks, Mike. Adrian Peterson takes it down to the 19-yard line for a gain of 5.
And more so than the fact that there was not a penalty call is the fact that Lance Lewis was down, and they are thin guard, center guard. The Chicago offensive line, they're going to have to make some adjustments there, because with the injury to Chris Spencer, we've already got Edwin Williams in that lineup.
And Spencer was starting for Shiloh Rachel, who was taken out of the starting lineup this week, left the Bears facility, and then was placed on the reserve suspended list. Here's Peterson inside the 15-yard line.
And again, I just don't think you can get away from this style. You can look at the scoreboard and you can be down 22, but this is the guy that your offense is built around. 3.5 yards per carry, but Adrian Peterson is the guy that's going to create an opportunity for a big play. Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, has to keep him involved in the game plan.
Third down and 1 off the fake to Peterson. Palmer hits the tight end Rudolph. He is inside the 5 and then knocked out of bounds by Major Wright. Rudolph picks up a first down, his third catch today for a gain of 12.
Well, you always know you have a mix-up in coverage when you've got two defenders on one guy and nobody on the other. Actually, Kyle's going to be inside that, 82. That was Rhett Ellison, number 40. He's actually the player that takes the two Bears down the field. You see Kyle Rudolph all alone in the flat.
First and goal from the 2. Two tight end set for the Vikings. Off the fake to Peterson. Ponder to Rudolph, touchdown.
Well, they've got to get something figured out there. That is the third time they have run that play, and Kyle Rudolph has popped wide open both times. Gabe Karimi is the player that gets kicked into the right guard spot, Lance Lewis.
Butler hands it off to Matt Forte, right behind Edwin Williams, who took over at left guard for Chris Spencer. How important is Jay Cutler to this Chicago Bears team? Since 2009, 50 starts coming into the game today, 31-19. And in the games Cutler did not start, 4 different quarterbacks, just 2 wins. On 2nd and 6, it's Forte. After the 27, so it will be 3rd down and 3 as Winfield comes up to make the tackle.
You know, I sure a lot of Chicago fans right now, Kenny, are kind of concerned. You know, it was 7-3 last year when Jay Cutler injured that thumb and missed the remainder of the year, and the Bears season just spiraled downward. And you know, you're in that same situation with a concussion at 7-3. Oh my gosh, are we reliving what happened in 2011?
Bears lost 5 of their last 6 a season ago after losing Cutler. Finished 8-8. Bears able to pick up a first down. It's Brandon Marshall who makes his 8th catch today for a gain of 8.
Yeah, and here's one of the reasons why I don't think you can draw a parallel to what happened in 2011 and what was going to happen here in 2012. Brandon Marshall adds an element to this offense that didn't exist. And they're better in a lot of different areas. They're better at safety. They're better at corner this year. The corners are playing better this year. We brought that up to Lovie Smith, and he wasn't buying any of it. He said, "No, we are a much better team than we were last year at 7-3."
New set of downs for Chicago. From the 35-yard line, it's Forte. And so much talk coming into the game about the offensive line with the 2 new starters inserted, Spencer and Scott. And then they lose Spencer and Lance Lewis today. But this line has kept Jay Cutler relatively clean. Only 1 sack for Minnesota. It was credited on the play when Spencer stepped on Cutler's foot.
And really, a lot of it has to do with Jay Cutler being back there. He has the ability to extend the play. He can hold the ball. He's got a very quick release. He's got a strong arm. And, you know, he'll throw from any position in that pocket.
I think you got to also look at Matt Forte in the running game. Them sticking with the running game now. You know, defensively, you have to do a little bit of the guessing game. Is it a pass? Is it a run? And that slows that defensive line down, especially on the pass rush. So,
it's another pass to Marshall. There goes for a short gain, a gain of 3. So the Bears now facing a 3rd down and 6.
You gotta love Brandon Marshall. He's always got a smile on his face now. He's just happy. He catches the ball. Whether he gets 2 yards or he gets 20 yards, he's smiling, he's happy. Guy that just loves playing football.
26.
9 receptions today. Big reason why the Bears have been so successful on 3rd down. Bears must get to the 45. Cutler fires and looked like simultaneous possession, but then it was taken away from Winfield by guess who? Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, well, we got a blitz coming from the offense's right side, and Jamarcus Sanford is going to come free to Jay Cutler, but he's going to get there a step late, and there's Brandon Marshall out of the slot. Just see that little slide to the right. Jay Cutler feels the blitz coming in. He just slides a little bit to the left, and then look at the point of the catch.
Well, that's unbelievable coverage right there by Winfield.
10 receptions for Marshall. From the 49, it's Forte into Vikings territory.
That ball's out. That ball was out.
Yeah,
there was
Raymond.
no whistle.
Mistral Raymond on the return. No whistle, Goose.
There was no whistle, and all the officials are looking at each other.
There
One
was
official
no
just
whistle.
dropped a beanbag chair, but I agree, Tony. I never heard a whistle.
We saw one of the officials kind of look back and shrug his shoulders.
Matt Forte makes a nice cut to the outside. He's still moving. Boom, the ball is out. Watch it right there on top of the pile.
He's not down because he's on top of other players.
Yep.
From the Vikings, 48. Forte's return questionable. It's an ankle injury. So he's replaced by Michael Bush. Pumper moving to his right. Chased by Jared Allen. What a catch by Marshall. For a Bears first down.
Darryl, it looks like every time the ball is thrown to him, it's like his gloves have glue on them. It's unbelievable how he just absorbs that ball and catches these passes.
Yeah, but watch this. I mean, you've got Jared Allen. He's just a step late. You got two guys pulling out the block. I mean, he beats both of those guys, and he is hot on the heels of Jay Cutler. And here's the finish you talked about, Goose.
Oh, look at that ball. Sucks that ball right in.
And with that catch, Goose, Marshall over 1,000 yards this season. Here's Bush, who stings and then reaches down to the 31-yard line as we check in with Kurt.
Kenny, here's one you don't see every day. In Miami, a sprinkler delay. Dolphins marching down by a touchdown, and they had to stop because all the sprinklers on the field went off. They finally got it started again, ready to begin the fourth quarter. Seattle with a lead, 14-7, but Kenny, Moose, and Goose, I guess it's been that kind of month for the Dolphins, who've lost 3 straight coming into this one.
I think I've seen that on a commercial before. Kurt?
Hope they get the sprinkler issue resolved in South Florida. As Michael Bush takes it down to the 28-yard line. Dolphins like water, right?
Absolutely.
Now you see a lot of things happening. All of a sudden you want to make that turf a little slippery.
Goose never shying away from the conspiracy theory.
I'm just, man, I didn't think about that when I was playing. That would have been great.
But the only one that slipped by you.
We got to slow Marshawn Lynch down. What do we do?
Let's put the water
Turn
on.
the sprinklers on.
3rd down and 1. Off the play fake to Bush. Pass is deflected. Aaron Henderson getting a piece of it. So it will be 4th down. Was out. Now he's heading off the field. Bears had an extra player on the field. Spencer to the sidelines. 46-yard attempt from the right hash. And Gold's kick is straight through.
After we will. The other ones, you know, when you talk about Matt Forte and Chris Spencer, Chris Spencer's been in and out. You wonder what the severity of those injuries are.
Vikings start from their own 20-yard line. It's Adrian Peterson found a hole. And Peterson takes it out to the 30. That is his best run of the day. He picks up 10.
That's why you got to keep handing it off to him. I mean, he's just, I mean, watch this run. I mean, he just, power, speed, the ability to change direction. He's so hard to tackle.
45 yards for Peterson on the ground today. Over the last 4 games, he's averaging 157 per game. Ponder on 1st down, loses the football, and it is ruled an incomplete pass.
A lot of pressure on Christian Ponder in the pocket. It starts to collapse on him. They're adding some linebackers in there now.
Arm moving forward, hand moving forward, which is the key.
Bill Lovey was upset on the sideline, yelling, "Get the ball, play the ball."
It was a late whistle.
Yeah. Let the officials make the decision.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 30. Inside handoff to Peterson. Gain of 6 out to the 36-yard line.
Oh, major right. Took a hit right there. Let's take a listen. That's pads cracking right there, man.
Peterson to the sidelines.
You remember that, Darryl, don't you?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Ponder to the outside, and it's Rudolph.
We've been talking about the fact that Minnesota has to keep Adrian Peterson involved in this, and some people look at the score and say it's 18 points with a little over 2.5 minutes to go in this game, but it's a weird state for this offense. They lead with the most explosive runs this year, the Minnesota Vikings do, but they are last in the NFL in explosive passes. If you want a big play, I mean, here's the key. This is the guy who has your 3 longest plays from scrimmage, so you can't take him out of that equation.
Pass incomplete, intended for Simpson, and those 3 big runs all came in the Vikings' last 3 games. And to make matters worse, for the 2nd straight game, they're without their leading receiver, the explosive Percy Harvin.
He adds that other element to Adrian Peterson. I mean, it's so hard for him to carry the burden by himself when Percy Harvin is on the field in the passing game and also as a running back, you know, and outside with some end arounds and different things that they do in the running game with him playing at different spots across the formation.
2nd down and 10. Wander's pass is caught out of the 47-yard line by Michael Jenkins, his first reception today, for a gain of 4. So 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Vikings, who trail by 18. Minnesota just 1 game out of the NFC North, trailing the Packers and the Bears. On 3rd and 6, the catch is made for a first down by Jenkins as he split in between Tim Jennings and Craig Stelz for a gain of 13.
That's a nice throw catch right there. I mean, you hit Mike Jenkins right in stride, allow him to run after the catch.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier, Darryl, about Christian Ponder and making good decisions. I think so far in this game, he's made really good decisions. When to run, when to throw the ball away.
Ponder fires and could not be handled by Simpson. Kelvin Hayden on the coverage. He's in for Tillman. 2nd and 10 coming up.
You got to make plays when you have an opportunity to make plays. And, you know, Christian Ponder's got pressure in the pocket. He hangs in there, makes a throw. I mean, Jerome Simpson's got to make that catch. Hits him right between the numbers.
That's the problem. He let it hit his chest. He didn't catch it with his hands. Got to catch that with his finger.
2nd and 10, Adrian Peterson. Peterson picks up another Vikings first down.
I love that little gallop right before he's going to make contact. Take a look at this. This is how you run the ball. Watch Adrian Peterson out of the backfield. Downhill. Now he turns directly upfield. Boom. Little gallop. Boom. He is the hammer, not the nail on this one. Got to keep your head up, though. He can't put his head down like that. That's when you get hurt. Nice way to keep your legs driving.
Gain of 14 for Adrian Peterson. From the Bears 26. Ponder overthrows Kyle Rudolph.
But if you keep giving the ball to Adrian Peterson, you're going to soften that defense. Chris Conte, Major Wright, they have to be involved in the run game to get up there and give that support. That will give you the opportunity to get a ball down the seam to Kyle Rudolph.
Longest drive of the day for the Vikings. This the 11th play. Quick throw, and it's Darius Wright. He takes it down to the 16-yard line. Looks to have the Vikings first down as time winds down. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line for the Vikings. Play fake to Peterson. And then Ponder's pass is short. Intended for the tight end Ellison.
But I like the awareness of Christian Ponder in not taking the sack at this time. You're in the 4th quarter now. Time is going to become your enemy. So you have to play action. Your protection starts to break down, and you know, drift, get out of there, get it towards a receiver on your side.
There's Charles Tillman from the sideline, giving signals, numbers, all kinds of stuff to help his teammates out.
Good little coaching. Here's Peterson on 2nd down. And Peterson tripped up by Major Wright. Takes it down to the 8-yard line of Chicago.
He's in the zone right now, Darryl.
He is. He really, he hits the ground and he's up and he's walking back to the huddle.
And he wants the ball again.
I want it again. Give it to me again.
Exactly.
38 yards on this drive for Peterson. Vikings now facing a 3rd down and 2 from the Bears 8. Ponder backpedaling, moving to his left. And then he throws to the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Jarius Wright. Kelvin Hayden on the coverage.
Well, Christian Ponder wanted Kyle Rudolph, but here's one of the ways you cover a tight end when you're a linebacker. Watch Kyle Rudolph as he comes in motion and crosses. Lance Briggs, here's how I cover. You're inside the 5 yards. That was one of the things when we played, Tony, that you had to know about. And here comes a huge 4th down.
That's the intimidation factor right there. Next time you come across that middle, think about it.
Vikings go for it on 4th down and 2. Ponder again moving left, under pressure, and it's incomplete. Successful field goal would have made this a 2-possession game, would have pulled Minnesota to within 15. It remains a 3-possession game as the Bears start from their own 8-yard line. Early 4th quarter, leading by 18. Butler looking to throw on 1st down. It is Marshall. Another spectacular catch. 2 defenders all over Brandon Marshall. Picks up a Bears 1st down.
Looked like more than 2 defenders on this one, Kenny.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with Brandon Marshall catching the ball in traffic today. But I want to go back to the point that Kenny made about the 3-possession, 2-possession. Remember, Chicago ran that 2-point conversion earlier in this game because of a look they got on their extra point, and you wonder if how that impacted the decision making. Because you talk about an 18-point lead, it's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion and the field goal.
Here's Bush, but if they kick the field goal there, it becomes.
But they've still got 3 more divisional games after today.
Combined 24 wins, more than any other division in football. Butler off his back foot, completes the push, but he's tackled back at the 18-yard line by Fred Evans, loss of a yard.
Watching Jay Cutler out there, one thing he is doing is he's working the clock. If you watch the game clock, which will be right under here, it's going to pop up in red. You'll see that he doesn't snap the ball until there's 2 or 3 seconds left. Right now it's at 22. He's going to wait for that to wind all the way down, so he's going to take as much time off the clock, knowing that it's a 3-possession game.
50-50. Watch the game, Jay.
On 3rd and 13, the delayed handoff to Bush. Fouled at the 25 by Raymond. So now the Bears will punt it away with just over 11 minutes remaining. 60 could come to your community. Vikings trailing by 18. Pass is intended for Jenkins. 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Vikings.
I love the way that they've incorporated nutrition into that Play 60 program too, Kenny. We talk about these athletes and the exercises and everything they do, but nutrition is a big deal too. And the NFL's worked with a number of groups over the years to raise money and awareness to help families in everybody's communities lead healthier lives. And Taste of the NFL has been working with them for 22 years, and it's a great program that they've got out there for the kids today to help battle childhood obesity.
Terrific job by all involved. 2nd and 10. From the 24-yard line, Ponder out of the shotgun. This is Peterson up the middle. Wrapped up by a trio of Bears led by Lance Briggs. We head west. Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Falcons and Bucks keep going back and forth, and this time it's Atlanta taking the lead behind a 3-yard touchdown run from Michael Turner. 6th lead change of the game, 24-23. Falcons up right now. Can he move some loose?
Houston, Texas, 10-1. Falcons hope to be 10-1 in about a half hour as Ponder is down back at the 22-yard line. Israel Adonijah along with Shea McClellan.
And this is one of those opportunities where everything's starting to collapse around you, and I think that Christian Ponder hung in there so long he had no exit route. Once it got to that, you've got 3 Chicago Bears just collapsing on top of you.
With Armando Allen in the backfield. This is Allen. Out across the 35, gain of 2.
An opportunity for Armando Allen to get some touches here now. Matt Forte out with an injury. Michael Bush been carrying the load here since Matt Forte went out.
How about
We'll
Jay
see how
Cutler?
Jay Cutler,
There you go.
you talk about threading the needle in his passing game. We'll see how good he does with the laces right there. How
That's a
can you
nice
say he's
start.
not a good teammate?
That was a nice bow right there.
Yeah.
Now think back to what took place between Cutler and Jamarcus Webb earlier this season, and then piece those 2 shots together.
Hey, Jay, can you tie my shoe for me? Absolutely not. You're getting me killed out here.
Now with the play clock winding down,
Should have put a double knot in that.
thanks to the lost shoe of Webb, Bears forced to use a timeout. Chicago leading today 28-10. Cutler on 2nd down. Over the top, off the hands of Marshall, and then nearly picked off by Greenway.
I tell you what, he does all the dirty work as a wide receiver, Brandon Marshall. And we've heard about the wide receiver position in the NFL becoming a diva position. This guy's not running a lot of deep routes this afternoon. He's running ins, he's running slants, he's running hitches.
54.
He's got 12 receptions, but he hasn't even broken 100 yards yet, Kenny.
Averaging just under 8 yards per reception. 3rd down and 8. Cutler fires to the 45-yard line, incomplete. Intended for a sliding Kellen Davis. Not get any easier in the battle for the NFC North crown. Here's Peterson. Peterson continuing to run hard, still on his feet, and finally forced out of bounds. After his longest run of the day, he goes 23 yards.
They come out in formation, Goose, and I'm like, you know what, we may have to change our thinking. It might be time to start throwing the ball because maybe you've lost the opportunity to stay with Adrian Peterson, and then he has to run like this.
You can't give up, Darryl.
Oh, my gosh, the guy is unbelievable.
Maybe they're second guessing if they should have gave him the ball on that
Oh, yeah.
4th and 2
Or 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2.
So Peterson only 25 yards in the first half. He goes over 100 for the 5th consecutive game. First time in his career. And it ties the franchise record. Robert Smith back in 2000 with 5 consecutive 100-yard games. And now Peterson this year. 2nd and 2, midway through the 4th quarter. Ponder sets, hits Peterson out of the backfield. Into Bears territory. He's close to a 1st down.
I think the frustrating thing with Adrian Peterson and all the production he has in the running game is there's no complementary play-action passing game that we've seen be really effective. Just a physical, never say die type of player.
On 3rd and inches, the ball hit the ground on the exchange, and it looks like Major Wright has it for the Bears. He does. 2nd time Peterson has lost a fumble today. So the Bears take over at midfield. Bush, who has 2 touchdowns for the Bears today, looks to fend off Brinkley. Bush down at the 47, gain of 3. We saw Kyle Rudolph of the Vikings head off moments ago, their starting tight end, and he is being evaluated for a possible concussion. Bears have lost 5 players today due to injury. Hester a concussion, Lance Lewis a knee injury, both ruled out. Spencer a knee, Forte an ankle, Tillman an ankle.
Physical game today.
It's Bears Vikings in the NFC North.
2nd down and 7. Cutler steps up and takes it to the 42-yard line.
That's a good feel right there of the pressure coming in from your right side. Make the quick decision, pull it down. You know, 2 weeks removed from a concussion, I'd still like to see him slide at the end of some of these runs. We see how important he is for this team. There's no reason to take an unnecessary hit down the field. I've never questioned his toughness or his guts as a quarterback, but right now, after what happened last week, after what happened last season, you are too valuable to this team as the quarterback to put yourself in a position where you can get a hit from a big defensive lineman chasing downfield.
And valuable as a guy who can tie a shoelace of a teammate. Saw that moments ago.
We need somebody else to do that.
Firing downfield from Marshall through his hands.
But what I was going to say is we can't get somebody else to do that. If Brandon Marshall makes that catch, finally, we've seen it all afternoon. It's been short route after short route after short route. Now they get him deep down the field. He gets Mistrell Raymond to bite on that. He gets behind him, and it goes right through his hands. I think the New Orleans Saints, one of the hottest teams, not only in the NFC, but in the NFL right now, a scary team. That's going to be a fantastic game.
Ponder over the top on first down. Peterson tackled by Urlacher. Gain of 4 with 5 minutes remaining. Vikings trail by 18.
Got to find a way to stretch the field. You need an explosive play for the Vikings right now. And it has to be in the play call and design.
Ponder on 2nd and 6. Darius Wright.
Michael Jenkins on that play was wide open, Darryl, on the right side of the field from where I'm at, on your side. I mean, talk about stretching the field. Look at this. Watch this route right here. He comes to the outside. No one's even near him. No safety over the top. Christian Ponder gets rid of that a little too early. He's got to look on the backside a little bit.
And Goose, Darius Wright unable to make the catch inbounds. There's offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave. Third down and 6 for Minnesota. Ponder throws on third down, and it's Wright who picks up a Vikings first.
There's a heck of a catch.
Darius Wright, the rookie out of Arkansas. It's his 23rd birthday today. Playing in his 2nd game following the injury suffered by Harvin. Now it's Peterson on the screen, and he's tackled by Urlacher. And there is a flag. Looked like a horse collar tackle by Brian Urlacher on Adrian Peterson.
You know, it's tough, man. When you got Adrian Peterson making a cut like he did, and all of a sudden your body's going. That's all Brian could do is reach out and grab something. It just happened to be jersey in the back of the helmet there.
Ponder on first down. It is deflected a couple of times and picked off by Tim Jennings, his 9th of the season. Jennings is inside the 20 and finally tackled at the 15 by Stephen Burton, who was the intended receiver. It looked like a pinball bouncing around the machine, and then Jennings came up with the pick. Chris Conti with an opportunity after it deflected away from Burton, hits the ground there before the left foot of Conti knocks it back up into the hands of Tim Jennings.
Even though it was coming back, it was fun to watch. This defense, Lovie Smith told us, the first thing we expect them to do is score. And it's funny to say it, but when you watch how they play and the turnover is there, they're thinking about scoring immediately.
So Jennings with 8 interceptions, he leads the league. Does not come up with his 9th, but does come up to make the tackle on Darius Wright.
And those are 2 of the areas that Lovie Smith says they are so much better this year than they were last year. Charles Tillman and Tim Jennings at the corner position, and then Major Wright and Chris Conti back at safety.
Penalty flag is thrown.
Only 12 men on the field, Kenny.
A pass intended for Wright. Third down and 5 for Minnesota. Empty backfield under 4 minutes to play. Ponder airing it out. He was looking for the former Bear, Devin Aromashodu, and it's Zach Bowman, who was in camp with the Vikings this year. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Seahawks and the Dolphins. 4th down and 5 for Christian Ponder and the Minnesota Vikings, as the pass is caught by the tight end John Carlson to keep this drive alive at the Bears 40. Chicago leads 28-10. 3.5 remaining. Bears coming into the game tied with Green Bay atop the NFC North. Vikings 1 game back. 1st and 10 from the 40 as Ponder hits Adrian Peterson, who gains 7 down to the 33.
And it's just such a difficult position to be in when you're trying to catch up to the Chicago Bears, because this defense is built around not allowing anybody to get beyond you. So in a 2-minute situation, down 18, it's going to be hard to get any type of big play.
Double pass, Peterson. Keep in mind, early in this fourth quarter, Vikings had an opportunity to kick a short field goal, which would have turned this into a 2-possession game. Elected to go for it on 4th down. Were not successful. So the deficit remained 18, and that is where we stand. Ponder again, looking for Carlson.
And he's had a couple of drops today, a couple of key drops. Christian Ponder has put the ball in positions for guys to make plays. And we've had a couple of situations like this. John Carlson is late getting that head around. The ball gets on him quick, and he can't make the catch.
Carlson only 5 receptions this season. Signed a big 5-year contract coming over from Seattle. Another 4th down situation for the Vikings, as we welcome those of you who have just joined us. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa from Soldier Field in Chicago. It is Adrian Peterson trying to pick up the 1st down with 2.5 remaining.
Now, the way the officials came in, it looks like he could be a little bit short.
And Matt Forte. But they lead by 18, 2:28 remaining. As Cutler hands it off to Bush. Jay Cutler, in his return, missed the last 6 quarters. Second half against Houston. Teams will do it again 2 weeks from today in Minneapolis. Here's Bush. We head to Los Angeles for a game break with
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I don't consider him to be a safe guy. I mean, we did that game, Tony. We did New Orleans, San Francisco last year. That was an outstanding performance by Alex Smith.
That was. Well, the Chicago Bears certainly know what Colin Kaepernick can do. Here's Michael Bush. And Bush able to pick up a Bears 1st down. Kaepernick in his first start. 32-7 over the Bears on Monday, but a different story for the Bears today.
If he pulled in that big shot on that last drive.
12 receptions today for Marshall. A couple of things, as you saw, first Bear since Marty Booker, and he's also the 5th player all time, 1,000 yards with 3 teams. Goose caught up with Brandon before the game.
Now, but it's still in the box.
Would you like some oxygen, Goose?
Yes, please.
2nd and 9, it's Bush. Under a minute remaining. FC game break coming up with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They'll have scores and highlights from around the league and get you ready for America's Game of the Week. Most of you will see the 49ers and the Saints. Great job by our entire crew here in Chicago, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate directors Eric Mandia and Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero, technical producer is Sid Drexler, technical director Chris Castro, pregame show produced by Bill Richards, directed by Bob Levy. With 20 seconds remaining, Bears will go to 8-3. Only the Falcons have more wins in the NFC. Big game tonight. Green Bay Packers, New York Giants. Bears win their 6th in a row over the Vikings and end their 2-game losing streak. Well, for Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Kenny Albert saying so long from Chicago.